The Medrash explains that there was something very unique about the Makkah, the plague of Tzvardeya of frogs, in that when an Egyptian saw a frog, they tried to hit the frog so that the frog would go away, that they'd kill it and the frog would be gone. But as a result of them hitting the frog, every time a frog was hit, more frogs jumped out of that frog. So the individual just became more and more frustrated and just started hitting more and more frogs. And the more frogs that they hit, the more frogs that leaped out. Ultimately, what ended up happening is that the Svardeya, the frogs, ended up spreading all over Mitzrayim, over the entire land. And that was the essence of the Makkah, of the plague itself, and how it tortured the Makkah, the plague of Svardeya, of frogs, tortured the Egyptian people. So Rav Yaakov Yisrael Kanievsky, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, known as the Stipler, explains the words of this medrash as follows: that there is a lesson to be taken from the plague of the frogs and the reaction by the Mitzrim to something which is very important in our lives, and that is the midah of ka'as, our trait of anger. That it tends to be that when we become angry at something, we try to respond right away and respond in a very strong way. That, for example, if someone says something to us that's hurtful to us, we'll respond, we'll yell right back at them, and we'll say something that's even stronger against them. So if someone says something that seems to be on some level insulting to us, but we're not even sure, we'll end up responding and calling them something which is even harsher than they had said to us, because we want to come back stronger. And that is the midah, the character trait of kas, that when we become angry, we sort of lose something in our mind. We lose a sense of responsibility and a sense of consequence in understanding what it is that happens to us as a result of letting anger control us. So he says as follows: it's better off for a person to be ma'avir al midosav, which is to watch a person's character traits, that they should listen when someone insults them and not answer right away, but rather to be able to give themselves some time to collect their thoughts, rather than responding right away and causing themselves even more hardship. Just like the Mitzrim, just like the Egyptians caused themselves more hardship because they were frustrated and angry, so they just banged further and further to get the frogs, even though they realized that all they were doing was creating and making the problem even bigger. So too with us as individuals, when we become angry and we respond quickly and we respond in a harsh way, we're only making the problem bigger and bigger for ourselves. So that's a lesson that we can take from the Mitzrim, from the Makkah of Tzvardeya, a lesson that we can really apply to our lives. And I realize that when I say this, it's not an easy lesson to apply, but if we start to look at all of the times that we responded quickly to when someone attacked us personally or someone said something that insulted us, if we start to write down each time it happened and how we responded, we'll end up seeing that if we would have just waited and made ourselves or introduced a sense of patience to our behavior, that we would have been much better off than creating for ourselves a certain level of stress which is beyond what we would have expected, but creating for ourselves a certain level of stress that there's a consequence to what we said in response to what the individual first said to us. So we should be zoche to continue to work on our character, on our midos, and to learn this lesson from the Mitzrim, from the Egyptians, and the Tzvardeya, that in our lives, patience should be a tremendous opportunity for us to grow and to succeed at perfecting our character. Thank you for listening, and good Shabbos.